Few of the products that we use in our everyday lives were discovered by accident. Let us take a look at some of these accidental discoveries in science. Safety glass. In 1903, French scientist Edouard Benedictus was getting something from a high shelf in the lab. He accidentally knocked over a colleague's flask and noticed that the glass cracked, but did not fully shatter. There was residue in the flask from cellulose nitrate, a kind of liquid plastic, which created a thin film that protected the glass. This discovery led to the development of safety glass. Chocolate chip cookies. In 1938, Ruth Wakefield, the co-owner and cook of the Toll House Inn in Whitman, Massachusetts, broke a chocolate bar into a bowl of cookie batter one night. She thought that it would melt and produce chocolate cookies. Instead, the chocolate chip cookie was born. Artificial sweetener. In 1878, Russian scientist Konstantin Fahlberg was part of a small team at Johns Hopkins University, researching uses for coal tar derivatives. One evening, he forgot to wash his hands before dinner, and noticed that everything he ate tasted sweet. He hurried back to the lab to investigate coal tar sugar, which he named saccharin. Today, saccharin, which is calorie-free, is used as a sugar substitute, i.e. artificial sweetener, in processed foods and in some beverages. Champagne. The beloved sparkling wine was invented by accident, when wine bottles were chilled by an unusually cold winter, interrupting fermentation. When temperatures warmed, fermentation restarted, making the wine fizzy, volatile, and bottles kept exploding. French monk Dom Perignon set to work making a bubbly, but less explosive product, and the champagne as we know it was born. Cornflakes. Cornflakes were accidentally created in 1898, when a batch of wheat-based dough was left out overnight at a sanitarium in Michigan, where physician and evangelist John Harvey Kellogg was experimenting with baked grains. When rolled out into thin sheets, the slightly moldy dough produced perfect large, thin flakes that became crispy and tasty in the oven. Later, corn dough was found to produce even crispier cornflakes. X-rays. German physicist Wilhelm Röntgen discovered X-rays by accident in 1895. He noticed a glow coming from a chemically coated screen, while experimenting with the properties of cathode rays. He eventually discovered that X-rays penetrated human flesh, but not harder substances such as bone. The new technology revolutionized medicine by allowing doctors to see inside the human body without first cutting it open. Vaseline. When British-born, American-raised chemist Robert Chesebrew visited an oil well for the first time in 1859, he learned that oil workers were frustrated by a gooey substance they called rod grease, which clogged machinery. He also noticed that the same workers would spread it on burns. He took some home and spent the next decade experimenting with it on himself. He refined it and began marketing it in the 1870s as Vaseline. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was originally marketed as medicine, i.e., an antidepressant, a painkiller, and an all-round aphrodisiac. The first formula included wine, coca leaves, the source of cocaine, and cola nuts, a natural stimulant. In 1886, the threat of prohibition led inventor John Pemberton to replace the wine with sugar syrup. When he and colleague Willis Venable accidentally mixed in carbonated water, they decided the mixture would make a good soft drink. The cocaine was removed in 1903. Insulin. The cause of diabetes was discovered by accident by two German doctors, Joseph von Mering and Oskar Minkowski. They removed a dog's pancreas to better understand the role of the pancreas in digestion. They later realized that the dog with the missing pancreas had sugar in its urine, a sign of diabetes, and concluded that a healthy pancreas played a role in helping the body process sugar. 30 years later, in 1921, Canadian Dr. Frederick Banting and his team isolated insulin and began using it to treat diabetes. Penicillin. Penicillin was discovered by accident in 1928. Bacteriologist Alexander Fleming returned from vacation to find that mold had grown on some of his petri dishes and interrupted the growth of the bacteria placed there. After 14 years of painstaking work, Fleming and his colleagues developed the first antibiotic, penicillin.